Glenn. Welcome to the 3.2 adding and subtracting functions video. So number one is let h of x equal 2x squared plus x minus h and g of x equal negative 3x squared plus 4x plus 1. And you need to find h of x and plus g of x. So you just take these two functions and you're going to add them together. So you have 2x squared plus x minus 5 all being added to negative 3x squared plus 4x plus 1. So you can only add things that are like terms. So we can add this 2x squared with the negative 3x squared. So that's 2 plus a negative 3x squared. So we get negative 1x squared because 2 plus a negative 3 is negative 1. Then you can also add the x with the 4x. So that's a positive 1x plus a positive 4x, so that's a positive 5x because 1 plus 4 is 5. And then the last one, negative 5 plus a positive 1. Negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4. And that's all you do for this problem. And then part B, it says find h of x minus g of x. So we're going to do the same thing, but instead of adding, we're subtracting. So we can just get rid of this answer and change this to subtracting. We'll change our color too. So we have 2x squared minus a negative 3x, so minus a negative is plus, and 2 plus 3 is 5x squared. And then for the second one, we have a positive 1 minus a positive 4, which is 1 minus 4, which is negative 3x. And then the last one, negative 5 minus 1 more would be negative 6. And that would be how you would do letter B. And then for the next one, let me get all rid of the erase marks here. It says find f of x minus g of x. So they gave us three different functions and we're just going to manipulate them a couple ways. So we have 3x squared plus x plus 2, all in parentheses, minus the g of x, which is 4x squared plus 2 times 3x minus 4. I'm going to put brackets around this because anytime you have multiple parentheses in one expression, you need to do brackets around the outer one, just because two parentheses next to each other is kind of sloppy looking. It's not the proper way of writing it. All right, so we have some distribution to do first before we can subtract them. So 2 times 3x is 6x, and 2 times the negative 4 is negative 8. Then we're going to bring down the 4x squared, and now we can subtract with those. So we have 3x squared minus 4x squared gives us negative x squared, and then positive x minus 6, so that's 1 minus 6, which is negative 5x. And then we have 2 minus a negative 8. So minus a negative makes it positive. So 2 plus 8 is 10, and you're done with A. For B, you're going to subtract g of x and h of x. So we have 4x squared plus 2 times 3x minus 4, all being subtracted from 5. Oh, we got brackets again. My goodness. Five parentheses x squared minus 1. So we're going to distribute this first, so this changes to 6x minus 8. Bring down our 4x squared that we couldn't do anything with. Then put this back with parentheses, minus sign here. 5x squared, when you distribute the 5, and 5 times negative 1 is negative 5. And put our parentheses back around again. So now we can subtract 4x squared minus 5x squared, which gives us negative x squared. 6x minus, there's no x term on this side, so we can't subtract anything with it. So that's just like 6x minus 0, which is just 6x. And then negative 8 minus negative 5, minus a negative is a positive 5. So negative 8 plus 5 would be negative 3. And that would be your answer for this one. And then for C, let m of x be f of x plus g of x, find m of x. So m of x is just your new function after you add f of x and g of x together. So let's use this color instead, green. So we're trying to find m of x, so we're going to write it like this. M of x equals f of x, which is 3x squared, plus x plus 2. And you're going to add it with g of x. So we have a bracket, 4x squared plus 2 times 3x minus 4. So we have to distribute this first, so we get 6x minus 8, 4x squared, bring it down. Then we're going to add these together, so 4 and 3, so it's 3x squared plus 4x squared is 7x squared. And x plus 6, that's 1x plus 6x is 7x. And 2 plus negative 8, so that's the same as 2 minus 8, which is negative 6. So m of x will equal 7x squared plus 7x minus 6. And for D, you need to keep this answer for m and use it to solve the next one. So we're going to use it to solve h of x minus m of x. So I'm going to bring this back up. Let's see if it'll drag with me. Oh, no, separately. Oh, geez. I'm just going to rewrite it. So let's do 7x squared plus 7x minus 6. And we are subtracting h of x in the front. So we have 5 parentheses x squared minus 1. And we are subtracting those two. So this you need to distribute, so that turns into 5x squared minus 5. And then bring down your parentheses, so that's 5x squared minus 7x squared, so that turns into negative 2x squared, because you're subtracting more than you have, 5 minus 7. And then negative 5 can subtract with this, but we have a middle term that we didn't use to subtract from. So this actually is going to turn to a negative 7x because of this minus sign out front. If you distribute that negative 1 into everything, it changes the sign of everything. So this turns into negative 7x for your middle term. And negative 5 minus negative 6, minus a negative is plus 6. So negative 5 plus 6 would be a positive 1, would be your answer for the final one. All right, go Seahawks. Woo! Let's see if Mrs. Glenn can erase. Come on now. Go Seahawks.